welcome to Colouring with Colourful Crafts. Today is a recap of all the finished pages I have done for the month of June, for the TropiJune and also the TropiJuly. But of course I haven't done any in July because it's just the 1st of July today, so so I've just got all the June ones to show, all my completed June pages that I've done for the month of June. If you've been following, great, you know these pages. If you haven't, okay, follow along anyway. So I'll get to the first one. The first one I have just finished today, and this is of course from Arita Berman's Hidden Ocean. A very nice colouring book indeed, and something that is definitely workable with the theme of TropiJune, TropiJuly, a tropical theme anyway. So I have done one in here, and this is the one I have finished today. This is of course of the sea snail, or the snail as I like to call them, with all the wonderful flowers and ocean things going on, and of course the colour theme, which is very tropical. At least that's why I chose the colours, to try and represent a tropical feel. If I bring it nearer the camera, you can see it closer and better. I haven't got the lines just as I wanted, but it's pretty good for an attempt at this kind of thing. And of course I've been using my trusty furniture paint to add on the highlights, which has worked brilliantly. So I'm really happy with how that turned out, and I think I will definitely be doing more in this copy throughout the month of July. And then we go on to Flights of Fancy by Camilla Dierko. I'm saying this right, Dierko. And we've got two to show from in here. So the first one is this one I did of this lovely, I don't know if I should have really had the light on by desk lamp. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Of this bird girl, budgerigar girl, manga girl. I suppose she is manga. I suppose all of her kind of characters are a bit manga-ish, aren't they? And here she is with all the birds on her head and all of that lovely stuff going on. If you can see that, I did the blending of the hair quite well. I'm really impressed with that, and I love how the birds came out. They're just so cute. So that was that one. Really happy with that. Really pleased. Loved what I did with that one. And then here is the I suppose she's a sunflower head and a bee. Even though I had complained quite a lot this month about there being too many bees in this book, but I decided to colour this one in anyway, and this is how it turned out. And I think it's really cute. Oh, my nail varnish matches. That's that one. So those were really fun to do, and I plan to come back to this book and add more, possibly in the month of July, I think. So moving on, we have, oh, I'm sorry, I just knocked the camera. Fairies in Dreamland, an artist's colouring book by Denise Clet. Yep. And then the one we have is, I marked it off. Oh my god, it looked like it was near the back, but it's near the front. There we go, this one. This is a fairy on a hammock. I gather that's a hammock, it looks like a hammock. And then she's joined by her little parrot friends. And then I decided again to kind of embellish the top with some white highlighter pen. I say pen, obviously it isn't pen. I've used the furniture paint here to add the highlights, but I'm really happy with how that turned out. I just kind of think maybe it might look, those look a bit like snow rather than, I wanted them to look like stars, but here they look a bit more like snow. Let me just put on the light there so you can see this better. So if you can see that, it looks a bit more like snow rather than little stars, but I'm just going with it anyway because I put a lot of effort into it and a lot of time in, and yeah, I don't really want to I didn't really want to go into finer details on it and spend like all afternoon doing tiny little white stars with the little paintbrush. I just couldn't be bothered. I didn't have the patience, so that's what I did, and it's really good, and I love how it came out. I think that's all I did in that one. Up next is Coco Wyo's Cozy Corner, and this one is of course the one at the back, not that one. this one of the Cocoa Juice bar. That was really fun. I did that mostly using all my Sharpies, I think, and some of my Tri-Blend and Spectrum Noirs. This was really fun, although I think I could have got the tree in the background I added a bit better. It does look a bit childish to me when I look at it, but I don't know what it appears like to other people. But you know, when you've done something you don't like it because you've done it, it's a bit like that with me and things. But overall, I'm quite happy with how the page turned out, and all the little details that I managed to add, and yeah, it's really good. It was a really fun page. I'll probably come back to this book at some point. I don't know if it will be for the next month because there's not a lot of tropical things in this, apart from, maybe you could call that tropical, perhaps. I mean, it depends, doesn't it? Is that tropical? It's more of a, I guess it could be, but not really. There's not a lot to go on here that you could put. Or you could do that fruit stall. That would work for tropical, you know, anything like that. So there's that one. Next, we move on to Hot Tropics by Carla Garner, one of my favourite artists at the moment. I'm really getting into her things, and these books are so good for the tropical theme. Obviously, I think Carla lives in, where does she live now? In Southern America, is it? She lives somewhere in Southern America. I can't remember where exactly it is. Palm Springs, I think. It's in California. Anyway, gorgeous. She's very nice. She dresses like I wish I could dress if I could get away with it. Let's get on to the first one. There we go. This one. This is of the Tiki, Tiki mermaid. Maybe she's a mermaid. I imagine that she's a mermaid. She looks very mermaidy. But I don't know, it's just very tropical, especially with the colours that I've chosen, which really came out nice, and the, of course, white highlights just blended in and made it really pop, and it looks beautiful. I do love that one very much. The next one I have is this one. This was, of course, using my new stencils my sister had given me. So I used those to give it a more tropical edge, obviously with the jungle theme, you know, lots of leaves around. And I think she came out really nice, very pretty, and very vibrant as well. Really nice. Even though green you wouldn't necessarily think of as a vibrant colour, but on this it's really made it all pop. So I'm really happy with that. The only thing is some of the pens kind of bled a bit over the line, so there's a bit kind of coming out. I think that could have been better, but again, that's just dependent on the pencil, on the pens that you purchase, really, isn't it? So, and then this one is of the waitress, I gather, because she's in a waitress kind of uniform and carrying cocktail glasses. Very nice one again. I added the 2 leaves to it, and then absolutely despise myself for doing so because I hate this one here, and I think I could have done such a better job at it. It just doesn't look, it just kind of looks stuck there, whereas that kind of looks like it's peeping out from the back, you know, a bit like that one that was already there, but I did that one, so I'm not too sure about that. I think I could have done better, to be honest, but it is what it is, as my husband likes to say, so yeah, that'll have to do. And then the very last one, of course, was the Tiki bar, the Tiki mask, what's it called, drink mug thing, there's a word for it, I can't remember, but yeah, there was that one, and I did it in a very vibrant kind of neon-y light way, so that it represented like as if it was a bar. And this is the kind of thing you'd find in there, and I really, overall, was very happy again at how that turned out. I think it was really nice, and I had so much fun doing that. Next, of course, and last, let me just move that one up there, is, of course, the Tropigoth. And we did quite a few in this, because this is one of my newer purchased books from this month. So, yep, I decided to really go for it in this one. This I did on camera. There is a video up on my YouTube channel. If you look back through the videos, I'll show how I coloured this one in and what I did to add the highlights. and how I did the background mostly, which is what I used. I used my Jane Davenport layer cake paints for, and it came out rather nice. I just added some pencil undershading here along her legs, the bottom of her legs, like there, but otherwise it was a really fun page. Moving on, we have this one. This is another quite recent girl, but I absolutely, when I'd finished her, I so loved my colours. Can you see those colours? They came out so well. I am so happy with that page. It was such a good, and it's kind of funny, whenever I do a page that I've really enjoyed, they always seem to come out really good. And also another thing I've noticed is, to get a really good page, sometimes you don't need to use a lot of colour. Like, you don't need to use a lot of pinks or blues or oranges or whatever colour you know, you just use a very limited colour palette and you can kind of get a kind of picture like that, which almost looks very, you know, almost, I don't know, it just really works very, very nicely. So there was that one. And then not the last, one of the first ones I did in here was this girl in her leopard print suit. Very nice. Surrounded by lots of leaves. I did not add the leaves, I don't believe. I wanted to, but I decided not to do it because I just didn't feel I had enough skill to add in any more leaves, and they're all kind of nicely placed anyway to give it that tropical feel. I didn't think it needed any more, and I just went in with my, basically every pen I had available, and outlined it with my highlighter, and it worked out like that. Looks really well, good. Then we have the next page, which is this one. It's a bit of a faff to get to. This one of the girl drinking out of her tiki mug, and her nice golden earrings. I added some of this goldeny. It's not picking up on the light. Hang on. Oh, it's still not picking up on the light, even though I've... Oh, you can just about see it there, kind of. It's not really good at picking that up. But I added in some of that golden glow to her earrings with the, now the pen I used was a super golden marker pen. I'll try and remember to link it below, but you'll know these ones because you can get them on Amazon. At least this is where I got mine. These ones, the super golden marker. You can purchase them on Amazon pretty cheaply, but they work very well, and they are fastly becoming my favourite kind of shiny marker, metallic markers to use. And I really love how she came out. So delighted when I finished her. I was like, oh, I've done that. Very happy. And then I think we did this lady here. Again, another one that turned out surprisingly well, which I'm really happy about. I love how I've got her costume here with the highlights and all of that going on. I think it really worked. I just used my markers again for her and just kind of kept with it, and then a bit of marker highlights for the back, these back pieces, like Art Deco pieces, whatever you call them. But yeah, I'm really happy with her. She came out really well. And then beyond that, we had, oh yeah, we had this girl. This is like a tribal girl. I imagined her as a tribal girl. Again, using my trusty furniture paint to pop on a few highlights and dots. You can see them in the background on her face as well. I wanted the tribal look on her face, you know, where they like wear a lot of face paint, so that came out really good. And again, I think that background was simply done with my Jane Davenport layer cake paints. I must say, if you do want some paints that work really well, I do recommend her paints. I don't know if you can get them in England anymore, or if you have to pay to have them shipped from Australia. It is quite a lot with the shipping, but I just love her paint so much that I love her. And then I don't think that was from this month. I know it might have been from this month. Yeah, that's a tropical theme, isn't it? Yeah, of course. So here is the very last page I have in this book. I quite liked how her hair came out as well. I just ended up getting bored and I left this part. unhighlighted, whereas I added highlights on this part of her hair. So I might go back to that and finish that off at some point. It does kind of look like it needs to be finished off. So you never know. It might be a thing, it might not. And that was it. That's all I've done as far as I can see in this book. Oh yeah, and her. I don't know if I showed it. I keep missing this one out. This lady with the parrot. I think she's at a disco, but I thought, well, she's got a parrot on her shoulder, so she's kind of technically, you know, tropical. It worked for me anyway in my mind, so that's what I went for. Let me just check, and then I'm working on. Let me show you which one I'm working on at the moment. I'm just working on this one here, again with a very tropical theme, and I have yet to colour in the plants and the rest of her top and the tiki mug thing again, but that's how far I've come on that one, and so far it's working out brilliantly. So I hope you enjoyed that, and stay tuned, because in the month of July I will be back with more tropical July pages to show, and then we'll be into August, and I'm kind of thinking along the lines of like an animal theme for August animal, you know, whatever, something like that. We'll see. I just go with it anyway. I don't take a lot of time to really think about these things, because, you know, I can't really, you know, I don't know. Anyway, so there was that. So I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned. Bye.